Hello and welcome everyone. So we're going to be explaining this problem. I'm going to be explaining this problem named permutation sort. Quite cool problem. In this problem, basically you're going to be given a permutation and you have to sort this permutation in the ascending order, but following some kind of operations that you can do in order to sort the array in ascending order. But you have to output the minimum number of operations you need in order to sort the array in ascending order. What is the operation? The operation is that you can take any subarray you want apart from the subarray, which is the array itself. So you cannot take the whole array itself, but apart from that, you can take any subarray you want and you can rearrange the elements as you like. Okay. Just rearrange those arrays, and you're allowed to do that as a single operations. So it's pretty obvious that when we're going to be taking a subarray, we will definitely be arranging it in sorted order. So that's pretty intuitive, but there are some cases we need to cover. As you can see, the problem itself is constructive. We are going to have to consider some of the cases. The first case is that when the array is already sorted. So if the array is already sorted, let's say I'm considering permutation of 5 elements and the arrays are already sorted, I know that I don't have to apply any kind of operations here. So the answer is definitely going to be always 0, of course, if the array is initially sorted. So I hope you get that. But that was the basic case. Now, basic corner case. Now, what are the other cases we need to consider? Now imagine we have to sort the array, right? And we cannot take the whole array in our considerable we cannot consider to take the whole array, but we can take what is the highest subarray that we can take. That's what I thought about it. What is the highest subarray that I can take from a permutation if I'm not allowed to take the whole array? Of course, a subarray of length n-1, like that. I could take a subarray like that and sort it. And I could take also a subarray like that and sort it. So from this perspective, I had an intuition that, okay, then I think I only need to care about the lowest or the smallest value and the largest value. If I could somehow take the two of these subarrays and sort it in some fashion, and I somehow make sure that my smallest value is at the first position and the largest value is at the last position, then I can definitely guarantee that the array is going to be ascending order. That's why only the smallest value and the largest values, these two values, I considered the most important ones. And I only considered and that intuition came from this perspective that I can take like n-1 length of subarray from an array of length n highest. So it's definitely intuitive that the two values, or the smallest and the largest values, they play a much bigger role in this problem in order to get the answer or to get the minimum number of operations. Now, what are the conditions and how do we manipulate these two values? How did we do that? Now, the way I did is I took the positions of these two values, the smallest one and the largest values. And the first case was if the value itself, the smallest value and the largest value, if these two values positions are in between the array. Now, in between, I mean by like something like this. They won't be a part of the first position, neither the first position nor the last position. They will always be inside from length 2 till length n-1. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's take an example here. Let's say I have an array of like 2 and then 1 5 and then 4 and then 3, right? Now for this array, answer, also one thing to notice is that answer will definitely not gonna go more than 3. Okay, now why is that? I'm gonna explain it later, because we are only left with the other three conditions where the answer is going to be 1, when the answer is going to be 1, when the answer is going to be 2 or 3. So now we're considering the answer when it's going to be 2. So when it's going to be 2, that I've told you that if the smallest value and the largest value, okay, if both of them are like in between the array, then I have a higher chance and possibility that I can get the answer, or higher chance or possibility that the answer is going to be 2. Why is that? Look, 1 and 5, value 1 and 5, like the smallest and the largest one, are both in between the array. Now how did we do? How are we going to be dealing with? Now just sort this subarray, and then the largest value is going to come here. After that, sort this subarray, and that's how you can make sure that value 1 is here and value 5 is here, and we're also considering this part and also this part, like that, from 2 to n and from 1 till n minus 1. Okay, so these are the two subarrays that we are considering. Now, so how many operations did we took? Only 2 operations. That's it. So that was the case for like when the value is like if the two values, the smallest one and the largest ones, are in between the array. Now let's talk about when the case when the answer is going to be 1. When the answer is when the possible answer could be 1, or what could be the reason when the answer is going to be 1? So the answer, okay, so let's take a test case. The answer is always going to be 1 if one of the smallest and the largest values are already in their respective positions. Only then the answer is going to be 1. Why is that? Let me tell you. Let's say 5 is already in its respective positions and 1 is here, like 2 and then 3 and then 4. Okay, now you can clearly see that one of the values are already in their respective positions. One of the two values that I was like manipulating with, one of them is already in its respective position. Now it's pretty intuitive that you're gonna work with the rest of the values, because you know that one of them is already in its respective positions. If I just sort the rest of the subarray, then the smallest value will automatically come into its final position, or its first positions, or its respective positions. I know that will seemingly that would definitely result as the sorted array. Just have a look at it. Like 5 is already in its respective position. If I sort this subarray, it's going to take like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. So this is the case when one of those values are already in their respective position, one of the two, which means the smallest and the largest, then the answer is going to be 1. Now let's come to the final conclusion, when the answer is going to be 3. This is the tricky part. Why it's 3 and how it's built. Let's take one example. What if the array looks something like this? The largest value in the first position and the smallest value in the last position. Okay, largest value in the first position and smallest value in the last position. And let's take a look at this. These values are like displayed like that. Now why I can do this, I cannot do these operations in one operations and two operations, within one operations and two operations, but I need 3 operations in order to make that. The first reason is that both of the values are at the corners, are at the edge of it, and they are not their respective positions. Also, they're not on their respective positions. They are on the other side of their like on the other side of the 2 island, not in their respective positions. Like please just imagine that the maximum value, it is in the position where the smallest value is is in the smallest values positions, and the smallest value is in the largest values positions. Of course, those two numbers are at their edge, but they're on the opposite direction. I hope you get that, what I mean by. Now, for this sort of cases, only the answer is going to be 3. Why? Just have a look. How is it possible to make it as 3? Okay, so the way we're going to be doing is first sort this subarray. If I sort it, I know that 5 is definitely going to come here no matter what happens. Okay, then 5 comes here, and then I will sort this subarray. If I sort this subarray, I know, I'm definitely sure that 5 is going to come here for sure, and this 1 is going to come here for sure. Okay, so 2 operations goes on. Now the final operation, it's definitely going to be this subarray. If I do that, 1 comes here, and I'm pretty sure that if smallest and the largest values are in their respective positions, when we take the subarray like that, consisting of n-1 elements, okay, because we're not allowed to take the whole array, that's where we're taking the largest subarray that we can take, which is going to definitely give us the two of the values at their respective positions after those sorting. So the third operations was for this subarray, and when I sort it, the smallest value comes here, and it gives like 1 comes in its respective positions as well as 5, thus gives us the respective ascending order sorted array. Okay, and also one thing I forgot to tell is yeah, it's also possible that so for case number 2, okay, where the answer is going to be 2, or the minimum number of operations is going to be 2, there's also one case we need to consider for that, which is not always like 2 of those values should be in between the array. This could be something like that too. Like if 5 comes here, let's take a look at it. If 5 comes here and 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, now if you closely look, the smallest and the largest values are not in between, but still the answer is going to be 2. Why is that? It's possible to make it because if I do this, because I know that 1 is not here, so it should be in between here. So 5 is already in its like this position. So if I sort this subarray, then like 1 definitely sure comes here. If 1 comes here, 5 comes here, and then I will just sort this subarray so that 5 comes here. So actually there could be a couple of cases when the answer is going to be 2. That's why we consider that in our else condition. Apart from that, for the case 1 where the answer is 1 or 3 or 0, they are actually definite. Now, what are those conditions? Let me take you to the code part and just derive it also. Quite well. Now the way we're going to be doing is taking the array, taking the maximum values position, minimum values position, and there we go. We're taking the maximum values position, minimum values position. Okay, so I think I unnecessarily took that vector, the value inside by vector. Okay, so please ignore it. But this part is definitely needed, the maximum values position and the minimum values position. Oh, sorry, this is also needed because it's actually needed to check whether the array is sorted or not. So that's what we did here. If the array is sorted or not, we checked that. And if it's not sorted, we know that like here we are actually considering the check. I don't think n equal to 1 is needed because n is already at least 3, so this was unnecessary. But this line here is actually considering the fact that if the array is like ascending or not. Now if the array is not at the ascending order, then for the case 1 and and the case 3, we have a definite condition, which is if the minimum values position is at the first index and the maximum values position is at the last index, or the maximum values position at the last index, then the answer is definitely going to be 1. Otherwise, if their positions are like swapped and they are all they're like I hope you get this condition I've already talked about when the answer is 3. And apart from these two conditions, the answer is always going to be 2. Okay, so I've actually described all of the examples according to the condition here. So I hope you get that here. Yeah, so yeah, till next time, goodbye.